Flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a quorum. All members are here. We're going to make one change to the agenda. Item number 6, public safety report, will be moved down to item 14, and item 14, public comments, will be moved up to number 6. Do I have a motion to accept the amended agenda? Motion's been made. All those in favor signify by saying aye. And those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The next thing is a report of mayor and town council members. Mayor Pro Tem. Okay.
Yes. This past month at our Western Union Municipal Alliance meeting, we were lucky to have Professor Jim Joyce from North Carolina School of Government here. And he gave a very interesting discussion to us about ETJ, or extraterritorial jurisdiction in the state of North Carolina. There are still a lot of parcels, unincorporated Union County property that are not only near us, but Western Chapel, Martin, Stockton, Mineral Springs. And obviously the concern is that, would the county approve something there that the individual member towns could not have a say in as far as, what would go on there as far as zoning and things like that. Interestingly enough, there already exists in the North Carolina legislation, constitution that ETJ is allowed. That if your town is less than 10,000 members, you can have up to 1 mile outside your town limits. If you're between 10 and 25, you can have 2 miles. If you've got more than 25,000 people, you can exercise ETJ up to 3 miles outside of your town boundary. However, we learned that if the county in which your town is located decides to exercise both permitting and zoning control through the application process, then you have to go to them. You have to go to county to get this ETJ. And also found out that for some reason, Union County is one of, if not the only county in the state that is that way. The county commissioners exercise both. Right now, there's only 2 towns in our county, Monroe and Wingate, that the commissioners have allowed to have ETJ. So I can just report that myself and the other town members that are in, we plan to ask the county why that is, that only those 2 towns are allowed to have it. And I'll keep you posted. And our next meeting is going to be the 4th Thursday in June. And I apologize, I don't have the town clerk. We'll be able to look at us on the town webpage. And that's all I got.
Thank you, Councilman Perman. Just 2 things. One is that since we're here at Weddington High School, I want to remind everyone that the Weddington High School band has been chosen as the only marching band in the state to participate in the celebration on Pearl Harbor Day in Honolulu. So Weddington High School is in the process of raising money. Not every family is in a position to pay the $3,000 it takes to send a band member to the festivities and return. So there are a number of fundraising activities going on at Weddington High, and we urge you to support that. It not only is a great opportunity for these kids, but it certainly reflects very well on the town of Weddington. So we're hoping that you will support that. That's the only thing I have. Oh, no, one more. Coffee with the mayor. I have my monthly coffee with the mayor. May 18th is a Wednesday. I tend to move them around Wednesdays and Thursdays at Town Hall. It's open forum, no invitations, no sign up, no agenda. What's on your mind, come help me understand what your thoughts are, and I'm available to answer any questions that I'm capable of answering. So it's, which limits the field quite a bit right there. But from 5 to 7 p.m. at Town Hall, Coffee with the Mayor on May 18th. That's it. We're going to move now to public comments. Many of you were here for the presentation a little while ago. The fact is, you know, the presentation a while ago, we're going to consideration.
What do you mean, the presentation? Yeah. I thought we said you could do a brief presentation of the changes.
Yeah,
What
we should do that before comments. Except for that. Tom, a brief presentation, if you will, on the changes in the plan, and then we're going to take public comments. At that point, we didn't have a sign-up sheet, I don't think, or do we? We do have a sign-up sheet, and we'll take public comments, 3 minutes apiece. So, Tom, you're on.
Mr. Mayor and ladies and gentlemen of the council and staff and so many of our neighbors from Wellington, thank you. So since our last meeting, we presented a little earlier some fairly significant changes to our site plan. So many of you have seen it before, and there was some concern on the townhome aspect of the site plan. So we have adjusted that to change and eliminate the townhomes in this area and make these all single-family detached homes. So the entire Wellington Green site now is all single-family detached homes. The density went down some. I believe we're at 158 now, which is a little under 2 to the acre. The other thing that we did, we heard some concern on the size of Main Street. Remember, Main Street's intended to be several restaurants, farm to table restaurants, and maybe a bakery, a coffee shop, breakfast type of place, a boutique grocer, and then some office and medical office space. So originally we had that at 137,600 square feet of space, and we reduced that now by 20,000 feet down to 117,600 square feet. But we left the parking the same. So the parking on the site, just to clarify that, approach was asking earlier, there's about 185 parallel parking spaces in a close proximity to the park. And then there's about 562 parking spaces behind the retail there. It's going to stay that large. So it gives you a significant amount of parking spaces over the entire site. The number is even a little higher than that. The other thing that we did, or clarifying, is that we want to, as a developer, we want to deliver a totally complete park to the town. That would include a playground area with a safety fence around the playground area. That would include a restroom facility, where those things would actually be finally located. If we're fortunate enough to go forward with this project, we would have a stakeholders meeting with hopefully many of you, some representatives from the town board and the staff that would help us kind of decide how the park could best be built out. The park also will have a 1 mile greenway trail system kind of through here. This area is about 8.5 acres. There's a pedestrian bridge in this area, there's one right there, and there's another one up at this end of the project. So those areas are about 5 acres, 2.5 acres on either side. So 8.5 acre park plus those 2.5 acres for the greenway system. Beyond that, we changed this Main Street to basically create a green space that would be open to the Main Street side. Last time you all saw the site plan, that building was on the Main Street. Now we've created this courtyard. We do have some pictures of that, if some of you all want to see that after the meeting. So all of the homes in here on this area will be alley fed. There will be 2-car garages on all of these new homes that we put in lieu of the townhomes. There will also be two-car parking behind the alleys in front of the garage outside the home. So, what all did I miss? Yeah. So are you ready for us to go ahead and kind of answer where we are tonight in terms of some of the things we heard earlier? Okay.
Right, as recently as a couple of hours ago, we're also going to revise this part, this linear part, and make this 100 feet in width. Right now, it's 50 here and it's 90 here, which means these lots will be shaved off. We'll actually lose one more lot, which will take us to 157. And this will become part of the overall park to get it out to Weddington, and that represents another acre. So now it goes to 9.5 acres. And the width of that at 100 feet is twice the width of this room. So it's no longer a linear park, it's a part of the park. So that change, it doesn't reflect, it's not reflected in this plan, but based on what we heard earlier, we looked at that and we felt that was a good way to be able to get this park a little closer to the street and make it feel more part of what's going on along the way.
Finished? One, two. Okay, we're now going to move to public comments. You're limited to 3 minutes. I have a sign-up sheet. The first person is Walt Hogan. Walt, please come down.
Good evening, Mayor and Town Council. So far, heard a lot of words, but I haven't heard any details, and I've certainly not heard any dollar signs. I'm used to proposals coming in, having as much hand waving as you want to have, and then actually see some numbers and some actual details. I don't know what the cost to the Weddington citizens is. I don't care about the cost to the people that are going to be moving in and doing business there, and I don't care about the cost of the houses and stuff. I want to know what the cost to individual citizens might be. In the survey in 2018, question 35 asks, okay, everybody wants parks, they want everything, do you want to pay for it? And the answer was no. So I just want to remind you of that. I also want to remind you that the RCD definition is incorrect. If the plot is 40 acres, the most can be on it is 40 houses, less the number of houses that is on the land that's not buildable. So you can have a 12,000-foot house, but it can't be any more than 40 houses less the rest of it. I think we also need to pay a lot of attention to the dollar sign. I'm used to proposals that have dollars, we investigated the dollars. There's a lot of stuff going around about 10 millions of dollars and 12 millions and all different kinds of dollars. I don't know what they are, but I do know if there's a question out there, then there's a lot more information that needs to be presented. You know, it's one of those deals. If it smells bad, it probably is. Thanks.
The next person is Niraj Singh.
Good evening, Mayor and Town Council. One thing I want to say is, based on the numbers that the developer provided, the density has not changed. It's gone from 161 to 157. That doesn't include the park. It doesn't include any of the roadways that would take up that acreage. Next is all these examples of commercial establishments that have been mentioned, but there's no way to know who will lease these retail spaces. It's completely irresponsible to take a picture of a bakery, a wine shop, a coffee shop, breakfast place, a boutique grocer, but can easily be a tattoo parlor, a tanning salon, etc. My next comment refers to the developer stating that the roads are private, and everything from my understanding seems to fall on the shoulders of the HOA and their finances. I've been in town assure us in perpetuity that the HOA obligations will not become a Weddington taxpayer burden, since this is a public park and quote unquote the center of Weddington. Or conversely, they will not restrict access because they are solely subsidizing. Lastly, the developer has mentioned about pedestrian crosswalk through the roundabout. Where are these pedestrians parking? Where are they coming from? Where are they walking from? There's no sidewalks going to Matthews Road. My understanding is no place to develop that. And lastly, would they be parking in the Weddington Corner parking lot? From my understanding, that is also not a public parking lot. Thank you.
Mr. Dean.
I apologize, this is a little disjointed. I just had to scratch my notes from the 4 o'clock meeting. One thing I cannot let pass, and I consider Jeff a friend of mine, but when he made the comment, today in Weddington, you can build 3.75 homes on an acre of land. It's absolutely false. An acre of land in our ordinance is 40,000 square feet. You can put a home through RCD on 12,000 square feet. That means you've got 28,000 square feet of open land that can't be built on, established in perpetuity. And Jeff should know that. A couple comments. Mr. Waters says the parking was around 4 to 5 parking spots per 1,000 square feet. And I believe that's probably the case. He says that's the norm. It's not the norm in Weddington. If you look at the UDO, ours is different. I'd like to know what that is, and it's going to be different. So that's got to be one of the conditions. If you approve this, that's a condition. Anything that doesn't meet our UDO, you got to define as a condition, conditional zoning. We talked about a 70-foot buffer along Providence Road. That's great. I believe the UDO calls for a 100-foot buffer along Providence Road. So we shouldn't really feel excited that he's putting in 70. That's another exception to the UDO. That's got to be another condition of the approval if you guys approve this. The Board of County Commissioners, they rejected a pump station. Very, very clear about that. Mr. Waters says, well, we got a plan. We think we're going to go back and ask again. I don't know what's different. And then the question I would ask the council, to ask the developer, if you cannot get a sewer, what is your plan if we approve this? They're asking for 5-year vesting, so I'm assuming they'll sit on it for 5 years, or at some point in time they can reapply for sewer. Someone asked a question, what is long-term rental? Which was a great question. I think that's got to be a definition in our UDO. We have definitions to define it. Long-term rental, what, 12 months or more. All the traffic discussions were going on. I guess I have a black and white question. Has a TIA been completed on this plan? And if it has it been reviewed by the town's engineer for his feedback? Craig asked a question. Some things are may, some things are must. It's very clear there's a huge deficit of trust with the developer, and I hate to say this, but with this council. So I think that's something that should be really clear. Big difference between a may and a must. This is the 3rd or 4th iteration of this plan. I think, Craig, you asked the question, 5-foot setback, or 5-foot side yard. I think that's what it is. Our current UDO is 30 foot. That's got to be another condition that's defined. At a minimum, as Mr. Waters said, we have made significant changes since our last meeting. And so that means more significant changes from what was approved from the planning board. At a minimum, this needs to go back to the planning board.
Next speaker is Ron Dow. Mr. Dow.
Council Mayor. I thought it might be helpful for the council even, but certainly for the audience, to kind of know what happens from here. If this is approved, if it is not. And because the UDO lays it out very clearly. If this zoning ordinance, this property is rezoned, that zoning and the conditions of construction for that follow that property. Now, 3 things can happen. Developer can build it. He's asked for extra time, up to 5 years, to start shoveling, just to start. Our normal is 2 years. It can be built, everybody walks away hopefully getting what they wanted. The second thing, he can sell it. If it's voted on tonight, and the economy turns south, he has business problems, one of his 9 major anchors that he's expecting doesn't sign because he has none under contract, he can flip it and profit from the rezoning only. And it had nothing in it. And in that case, you've really got to ask yourself a question. Would this have been the ideal place to pick for this? Or maybe the Old Town Center with all the regulations and the building plans that had planned out and the traffic? So those are the points I wanted you all to consider.
Thank you. Mr. Bill Hampton. Mr. Cass.
Mayor and council, I've been to all of these meetings. I've asked questions, still don't have any answers. It's all we'll take care. Okay? I asked about the sewer pump and the conditions of where you're gonna pump it to. Who's gonna accept it? Haven't seen any, paperwork on it from anybody guaranteeing you that. You say you're gonna pump it to Salt Mecklenburg Utilities through that line. Well, I understand that line is a dedicated line for an overflow for existing, sewer plant. All right, pumping station. Yeah, they do have, as Jeff said, they do have modern stations, but there still is a vent off of these things that does put out sewer gas. You cannot contain that in that plant. It is explosive. Second, nobody knows anything about what the homeowner review is gonna be on this. All I hear, well, the homeowner's gonna take care of that, they're gonna take care of that maintenance, they're gonna take care of that maintenance. Who's gonna pay for the sewer station and all the maintenance on it if you get it? So, you know, there's numerous questions that have not been answered. And y'all need to think about this as far as the public. We voted y'all in, that we're looking out, you're supposed to be looking out for our interests, not the developers' interests.
Chris Gross.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Thank you for having us here. There's not much more I can add except for one question. Being this is a wetlands with that stream running through, was there an EPA study done? And if it was, do we have the results? That's all I have to say.
What kind of study?
EPA. And if it wasn't, why not? I mean, that should have been done before we even got to this point. Shouldn't it?
Yes.
So why wasn't it? It was? Then how come we don't have a report? Shouldn't that be on the Weddington website? Is it? Has anybody seen it?
No, there is no EPA report.
I'm not aware of it.
If you're not aware of it and you're the mayor, he's the mayor. If he's not aware of it, then it wasn't done, or the report isn't done. And if it was done and you are not aware of it, why not?
Jackie Groom.
This is quick. quick. I'm Jackie Broom. I've been a Weddington resident for 44 years. So, I've been witness to a lot of change, which I'm not against. The problem I have with change is that I'd like for it to be a majority representative and not a minority. And I'm disappointed that, we're even having this discussion to start with. The fact that we would even entertain that idea, based on results of surveys and studies and opinions is, disappointing and disgusting to me. Thank you.
Joyce Plyer.
Well, it's me again. Let me just say succinctly how I feel about this process. The planning board and the town council have been lobbied for almost 2 years by this developer and his colleagues. We know this for a fact because of the responses to the FOIA requests. Lobbying has been going on for that long behind the scenes. By the time of the so-called community meeting in late January of this year, a plan of action between the town's planner and the planning board and the developer had already been laid out about how this was going to get approved and what the timing was. I feel, and many of us feel, that this process has been tainted from the very beginning. If you vote yes for this, you are going to show by your vote that you are A-OK with keeping the community in the dark as long as possible, allowing conflicts of interest on the planning board, allowing a planner to coach the developer in the best way to get approval.
Yes.
You are A-OK with yourself coaching the developer. You are A-OK with accepting a traffic impact analysis from the developer without the town doing its own due diligence of that. That is, getting your own expert to review the TIA. You are A-OK with a lot of things that look bad here. A lot. And I don't have time, and I didn't have time to write them all down in this statement. But just know that when you vote yes, if you're planning to vote yes tonight, those are the things you're saying okay to. We have a right to be angry, and I know that sometimes our anger has boiled over into perhaps things that you consider rude. But Mr. Perryman, we don't need a lecture on rudeness.
Amen.
When we feel that we have been treated in this manner by people. And Mr. Mayor, there have been lies told, and that is an affront to us. I came here to say one thing, this will be really short. I'm strongly opposed to this development. I think it's a bad idea. I've been a long-term resident of Weddington for over 25 years. This isn't why we came to Weddington. It's not why my neighbors came to Weddington, and they're longtime residents. I don't think it's what the people want, and you guys are elected to represent what the town of Weddington wants. We don't want this. Thank you.
Jamie Poole.
You spoke about social media and other information promoting fear of this proposal. And I just wanted to say it should. This proposal is scary to almost every single one of us attending tonight. What you are about to vote on has the potential to set precedents that will forever change Weddington and the character that we cherish in what we love about Weddington.
Amen.
Thank you. The EPA study, this creek, which in a minute I'll go into the creek, and about the retaining wall and all that goes into upkeeping, because we have a lake. I know how much it costs to maintain a lake, retaining wall, and it's expensive. And so I don't know who's paying for that, but I can promise you that water feature is expensive. We have 3 to irrigate our lake, and it's expensive, and they break frequently. But that creek, it runs into Mundy's Run. Mundy's Run runs into Arrow Plantation, and Arrow Plantation is protected environmentally. And so if you don't have that EPA, you have problems. And then I would also like to say, and this is nothing personal, but our investigation through the NC Administration Office of the courts has uncovered that the developer and the affiliated companies currently have over $10 million in unpaid judgments. There have been over 150 civil actions across Mecklenburg and surrounding counties wherein Mr. Waters and his affiliated companies are named as defendants. Foreclosure actions make up more than 25 of these families. This is all public information. You could have gotten all this information. I have a stack of over 500 pieces of paper that we've read through all of them. And so I encourage you to know who you're entrusting all these mays and may not. Do we know that if you vote yes, who's to say that the development's not sold as soon as you say yes, the rights to that development? So it's very scary. And then we talk about this park. That park is so small. That hike trail is not even a mile. Or for people to walk. And the playground, it's surrounded, I got these seconds. It's surrounded by parking lots where children are going to be playing. It's surrounded by cars. So, thank you.
Jeff White.
First off, I filed an ethics complaint last time. I've not heard one thing back. So I need to know if it's thrown away, not considered, but I would like to know instead of money. Secondly, it's a little bit disingenuous. The developer can come up here and say his yield is 1.9 houses per acre. That's just not right. He's dividing by 80. He needs to divide by at least 60 because he's counting the commercial development. He's not counting the commercial development and the parking associated with that. So this math doesn't add up. Makes no sense. It's like I could have Harris Teeter, being 70 acres, we put 100 acres, we put 100 homes on 10 acres, and then what am I going to do? So this math does not add up. You cannot count that. That's almost stuff. Again, going by Councilman Fairman's rule, 12,000 square feet lots. He's got 6,000 square feet lots. So based on that, you have 6.7 homes per acre. based on his rules that he chastised us about what you can and cannot do with weddings. Now, the other thing too is, a lot of people brought up about the survey. I went back and read the survey. There was a question in number 4 about what the residents really wanted as far as development. 86% said reserve one home per acre. We consider that a sacred cow in this town. And you should really know that by now. There's also the thing about the sewer. I don't know how we're gonna go back and do the process for that, because when it was denied, I wrote a letter, but didn't hear anything back, or email, didn't hear anything back. The actual vote from the Board of Governors was, the voting on the following: requested interim alternative off-site sewer improvements for social credits required pump stations for sewer service for new development projects which require such improvements. You have to consider these improvements according to the UDO when you vote. Now, the county commissioners didn't say, oh, we don't like this, we wouldn't want you to have them. They actually listed 5 reasons of why they denied this pump station. One is the pump station is most likely to be a permanent solution and not temporary. Second, utility costs will be spread out to all ratepayers as versus fiscal rate we have contracted. Third, sewer to be pumped across the basins from the 6 Mile Creek Basin to the 12 Mile Creek Basin. 4, sewer capacity contracted with Mecklenburg County is not for new developments, but to be used to satisfy any diversions from the 12 Mile Creek Basin. 5, the Weddington Green Plan is inconsistent with the master water sewer plan for Union County. So they can go back and do the process again, but it's not going to change those 5 things I've just listed out. Thank you.
Helen Myers.
Hey, just real quick, the bottom line is what I don't understand is the process somewhat is confusing to me, whether you like the process or whether you like the project or not. The process just seems to be a little out of order. I don't understand how we don't know things like a sewage system, how that's going to work, and how the studies of the traffic patterns are expected to be done when the roads that they're proposing may not even be coming from the state. We were told many times that we don't have control over the roads. It's from the state. But there's no guarantee those are going to happen, and they're years off into the future. And yet we're doing studies and road studies and traffic surveys based upon things that may or may not happen sometime in the distant future. So I guess what I'm driving at is so much of this is built upon what may or may not be as opposed to what is. And if we don't know what is, then how can we possibly make a change to the zoning when we don't know the answers to these very, very basic questions? So to me, you get these questions answered, then we can have this process. Then we need to talk about it, but not beforehand. If we can't get the sewage system fixed, if there isn't a solution to that, then I don't even know why we're standing here talking about a project. It can't possibly go forward. So that's to me is the question. To me, it's just a process. It's backwards. We got to figure out these kinds of situations. Once we figure out these situations and what can and can't be done, then we can determine what can be done, and not until. Thank you.
Michael Lukey. Michael and Kathy. Kelly. Ellen. Okay.
The big question I have is very similarly along the lines of what I've heard from most everyone else is, how can you make an educated decision when you're not educated on what the costs are? How can you make a choice when you don't even know what's going to happen? And as I've heard tonight, a lot of innuendo, this may happen, this might happen, this could happen. But there's nothing definitive about what is going to happen. And so then I guess it comes back exactly to the gentleman before me. When you have definitive answers of what's going to happen in the process, then you can start to make decisions and then ask the residents if that is what is best. I have not seen the survey that Mr. Flyler mentioned earlier, but I will say, for him to come up after doing his research and say 86% of the people said they wanted to preserve Weddington where it is, that's not a minority, that's the majority. And these are the people that are here, and these are the people that have elected you. You didn't put yourself here, we put you here.
That's everyone I have that signed up. Is there anyone impelled to speak? Yes, sir. Please come up to the mic and give us your name and address for the record. We'll find it.
I'll text you. My name is Chris Martin. I've been a Weddington resident for 15 years. I'm opposed to this project. I'm really disappointed in how it's been presented to our town. It's kind of been forced down our throats. You've talked about this group that is the rabid minority, and there's some silent minority that actually wants this. I don't know that it's out there. The information that we're getting is this was groomed. The town manager clearly was indicating to Mr. Waters when is the best time to present. Oh, this is a great lunch with this one. We're having all these sidebar conversations, and it doesn't seem like it was in the light of day, in my opinion. The town has spoken in every one of these meetings. It's taken a lot of energy and effort. I know it's not over. If you vote yes, I'm sure there'll be much more of this that we'll have to deal with as a town and community. The proposal there, the developers nibbling off the edges now, they don't have, and making significant changes every time he presents. If he makes significant changes, my understanding, it has to go back to the planning board. There's a lot of steps that have been missed, or saying, we'll get to that later. You know, that's not something that we have to deal with right now. I'm not sure why. It seems outside the scope of the UDO in so many ways that it needs to be reevaluated. You guys have a way to send this back to the planning board, not to address it today. Your constituents have spoken, and they say, we don't want this, and you guys should abide by that. And, you know, I love this community. It is a community. I also take it, offense that we don't have a community because we don't have a little park. That's not the case. I really do. We are a community. We're a great community. We're a community that we can strive to be like our community. We should keep it like that. So thank you.
With that, seeing no one else seeking, there are a couple of the people seeking the floor. We're going to continue this for a few more minutes, but no, yes, ma'am.
Hey guys, Mayor Point. Kelly Ludke.
Your name again, please?
Kelly Ludke. I want to mention, so we've been residents here for 16 years. We came to Weddington to raise our family. We specifically came to Weddington out of Fort Mill because of 1 acre lots. And I suffice to say, if you move to Weddington, you don't need a park because you live on one. I also want to mention, I have 4 children in the Weddington school system. We have an infrastructure problem in Weddington. I'd like to ask if any of you, and I think some of you do on the board, do you have children in the school system? Are you taking your children or picking them up to school? Do you see the problem that we already have? I live in Providence Woods. In the morning around 8 o'clock, in the afternoon around 3. Don't you dare try to go to McKee Farms to go past UV Day School or go to Socrates. You will be stuck for at least 45 minutes. Going to Weddington Middle School or High School to pick up your children is an hour out of our day. We already have challenges. We know what the challenges are on 84. And I don't know what the plans are, but we already have infrastructure problems. And the last thing I'll say is we know by Waverly and Ray Farms, it's been wonderful to have those resources near us as families. But we know the crime and the issues that we've seen having these types of development areas in our communities. It would literally be like bringing something like that to your backyard. That's just not what this community was built for. We have access to those things within only a few miles. So my question to you is, we do not have a police force in Weddington. Who is going to pay for the security for this development? That's a big question. Union County Sheriff? I think we need to consider that. We see what's going on at the intersections right now at 485 and at Ray Village. This type of development brings a lot of challenges. And so I ask you to consider those things, please.
Earlier, okay, there's two more, and that's it.
I forgot my main point. I'm the one that's not against change, I just want it to be a majority vote. And, if it is for the people, why don't the people get to vote for it?
Yes, sir.
I want to first thank you for allowing us to express our feelings. We appreciate this opportunity. I want to make one thing perfectly clear.
Identify yourself, sir.
Yes, sorry. My name is Alan Bartolucci, and I'm in Arrow Plantation. I want to make it quite clear. These are the people right here. We're not the enemy. We're the residents of Weddington. And many of these people, I'm sure, voted for you as members of the city council. I've been to every one of the meetings that you have held, including the planning board meeting. And not at any of those meetings was there not a clear and unanimous showing by the residents of Weddington that they do not want the Weddington Green. It's quite clear. So my question to you is, why do you want it? Do you want it because there's going to be a restaurant? There's 13 restaurants in Waverly. Is it because we're going to have a bar? How many bars do you need? Okay? So to me, I'm trying to understand. So please talk to me like I'm a third grader so I can understand. Because I've been coming to these meetings. The people have been expressing quite clearly they do not want this. And yet you are talking to Mr. Waters here about how you're going to rearrange the whole system. And my last point is this. Can this gentleman please stand up in front of us and tell us his financial positions, and why it hasn't been explained to us if he's going to go ahead with this project. It's a responsibility for him to tell us the nature of his financial availability. Thank you.
Oh, I didn't see another speaker. I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand.
You got no one back there, you can't see your hand. I don't have much. My name is Bill Waterline, I live in Providence, South. I don't have a lot to say, but the gentleman before me sort of broke the ice. Because I'm an old man, I think I might be able to get away with this, but I think it's appropriate that the developer, Mr. Walker, has been accused of having 150 adjustments against him and $10 million in claims against him. I would be very, very reluctant to try to do business with someone like that. I can't believe that the town council is even considering getting in bed with someone of that kind of character.
Yeah, my name is John Amon, and I live in Arrow Plantation as well. And I just had a question on the fact that the due diligence that was done by the planning committee here, and erroneous information, or at least what I consider erroneous. When we were told you could do more tonight, first time I'd ever heard that, you could do more than one house per acre, I almost fell out of my chair. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's not the case. But more importantly than that, is something when you look at these plans, I look at plans every day. When a set of plans comes in, you know what? Every house has, when you go to plan a sewer pump station, every house has a gallon per minute and it's allocated by state that it's allowed. You would have to flow that somehow to where that pump station is. If it topographically isn't there, then you gotta put a pump at that house to pump to that pump station. Once it's at that pump station, then you have to have 2.5 times the total capacity that you're expected to get in a day to hold it there. That's what it takes. That's so simple. Yet here we are, the plans, we can't even tell where the sewer station is, what the sewer station is. Is it gonna have a 5 horsepower? Is it gonna have a 500 horsepower? I mean, come on, folks. Who's done the due diligence on this? You're the planning committee. You're supposed to do it. We hold you responsible. I'm opposed to this, and I think you should be too.
You're the last speaker, go ahead.
Hey, my name is Kathy Pillow. I live in Lake Providence. My family's been here since 1840, whatever. I just want to say that when you think that you can approve this and it will not bring depreciation to our homes or crime, you are living in a dream. I work in Waverly every day, 4 miles from here. 3 months ago, my car was hit in the parking lot, in daylight, not at a bar, in the shopping center area where I work in the medical facility. My car was hit, I didn't know it. The next day, when I walked around to the passenger side, I had $8,000 worth of damage. Thank you, Waverly. The facility I work in, we had to put security film on a medical office door. People try to break in. I don't know if they're looking for drugs. I'm still there before and after the doctors leave. It's not safe. And if you think it is, then that's what you want here. You're not in reality. And I do not appreciate this many people deciding for this many people what to do.
My name is Ken Taylor. I live in Wellington Woods, and I've been here about 35 years. And most of us, I think all of us moved here for, is Weddington being residential. We do not want commercial. We don't need commercial. That's why we all moved here for. And basically what I'm saying, please keep us like we have today. Residential, keep us, we don't need commercial. And that's basically all I gotta say. That's why I moved here, and I think that's why most everybody else moved. There you go.
Thank you, Ken. Yes, sir.
First, thank you for your service. I know this is not an easy job, okay? But let me say this.
Can I get your name?
My name is Frank Trammell. I live in Walden at Providence. Need my address? Okay. I built a house in Matthews to retire in. Beautiful home. My son showed me a house in Walden at Providence for sale 8 years ago. I bought it the next day. I lost $100,000 on the house that I sold. But why did I move to Weddington? Because it's Weddington. It's Weddington. It's big lots. 3 acres with a 6-acre lake in my backyard. We don't need this. We've got restaurants. We don't want apartments. We like what we have. I mean, I think that's clear here. I'm not against progressive aggressiveness, I like that. I'm a businessman. I have my own business. I get it, but I don't get this at all. There's no reason for it. Any questions?
Okay. It is 7:58. We're closing the public hearing. The public comment section. So, I know it's not public. Okay, we're going now to item 7, consent agenda. You all have it in front of you. The meeting minutes from the April 11th, the council work session minutes from April 12th. The appointment of Robert Treff. Over here, our new zoning administrator, we're trying to read it all, zoning administrator and erosion and sediment control administrator. And then we're also going to create a public hearing on June 13th at 7 p.m. to receive comments on our budget for fiscal year 22-23 and on the conditional zoning amendment for Weddington Glen residential conservation subdivision. So that public hearing will be scheduled for June 13th. Do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
It's been moved. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. We'll move on to item number 8, which is old business. The first item on old business is a discussion and possible consideration of conditional rezoning applications for mixed-use development of Weddington Green. Is there a motion?
To what? To discuss it?
Okay. If you want to discuss it, or is there a motion?
I don't think there's a motion.
Okay. Any comments from members of council?
I think I've heard what I need to hear.
I think I've heard what I need to hear from Mr. Water, after our discussion, and also certainly from the individuals who are present here, and I have no further questions.
I have no further questions.
Agree with John. I don't have questions at this time.
Okay. No further discussion by council. Is there a motion? Is there a motion for any action? Does anyone on the council want to make a motion for action on the Weddington Green proposal at this point?
Somebody needs to make a motion.
Yeah, we're figuring it out.
Hold on.
So right now,
If there's no further comments and no further discussion, then it is appropriate to ask for a motion. This board with this topic pending before it has the opportunity to move to approve the zoning, to move to deny the application, to move to send it back to planning board for more information, and a third option is for a deferral of a motion for council to consider and clarify some of the topics that were discussed between 4 and 6 and get those in writing. If you're asking for my opinion, and I believe it's up to council, but if there is a motion to move forward with a yes vote, I would recommend this go back to planning board to get all of the topics that were discussed today cleaned up and put into
We want to hear from council. We've heard from council. So again, I ask if there is a motion is there a motion to refer this back to the planning board?
So moved.
A motion's been made to refer it back to the planning board with all of the information and minutes from this meeting and previous public hearing. The motion's been made. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no.
No.
There's no second.
There's not a need for a second with a four-member council. So, but you did say.
I did, but I guess I did.
But it's not necessary, according to Robert's rules.
That was 2-2, that was all, yeah.
That's right.
Mayor, you break the tie on this.
And I move to send it back to the planning board. It was 2-2. I move to send it back to the planning board for reconsideration, given all the new information that's been supplied.
That's called kicking the can down the road. Holy cow. Make a decision. Come on.
I'm happy to make it.
Come on.
There was a motion that required a vote. That's up to the council. The mayor does not have the authority to make any motions. He only votes for a tie. So if there is someone that wants to make a counter motion, they are open to do so, since it was tied 2-2. But seeing no one moving for the floor, we'll move on. So item number 9, new business.
Somebody make a motion, Judge.
We're gonna discuss consideration of preliminary and final plat for the Hemingway Place subdivision unless there's another motion.
We gotta do.
Somebody make a motion.
Next item on the approved agenda is still under old business. Okay, hold on.
You know what you're doing down there.
Get done.
We're having to listen to this.
Give us a minute up here as we sort through how the council wants to proceed. At the present time, there's been
All right. At this point, this is my opinion. At this point, I don't think, for me, I'm seeing enough changes warranting sending this back to the planning board. Okay?
Hold on.
So, like I said, for me, I voted no, to not send it back to the planning board because I don't think there's been enough changes to it. And so.
Then why are you making that?
Let him talk.
Okay, that's fine. No, we send it to the planning. Send it to the planning.
Anyone else seeking the floor? No. Let's take a 5-minute recess.
Good.
coming back into session. Coming back into session. Now, folks, I'm just gonna ask you, quiet down for a minute and let these folks up here give some thought to what's happened, what you've said, what's been on their mind. Give some people a time to think. I know you all want a decision. We know you all want a decision. We want a decision too. We want to think through it so that we make the right decision. So we have had public comments, and now I am awaiting a motion to reconsider. Point of order, please. No point of order. I'm waiting for a motion.
What I want to do is have some discussion between the council, because I want y'all to know where I'm at and what I'm thinking. All right. Right now, I'm a no vote. Do we? Okay. Right now, I'm a no vote because of the park. Okay. Like I said before, I talked to people that there are things in here that, they are in favor of, so that would be nice to have. But from the beginning, this project has been labeled, promoted, choose your adjective. As a town, this is the town's park. This is a place for this town to live. Right now, in its current form, and even with the modifications we've made, I don't think it meets what I think it should be. It just doesn't. And so that's where I'm at with it right now.
Please.
And I fully respect the other members of this council. Like I said, this has been better from the beginning. But that's where I'm at right now. Now, I'd like to hear from the rest of my fellow council members, and then I'll see if I'm going to make another motion.
I feel like we had a good work session earlier today. I think there were some clarifications that we were able to secure, made me satisfied. I think that there were some other changes that need to be taken looked at. I feel that if it goes back to the planning board, they can narrow down and get the development standards to where I feel 100% comfortable with those, that there are no question marks written down next to them any longer. I think that's what the planning board's, my opinion, that's what the planning board's job is to make sure that every I is crossed and every T is crossed to come back. So I would like to send it back down for them to just clean it up. I don't want any more revisions. I don't want any more highlights. I just want to see a nice, clean standard and some of the other changes we talked about. And that's what I would do.
My perspective that, well, I have a few things that are checking points, specifically the carriage houses. I think that's inviting unwanted interactions into our community. Additionally, the brewery is something that's difficult for me to invite into our community. I just feel like the family-oriented community, inviting a drinking destination into their space is not a match. And I just feel like the project as a whole is incongruent with Weddington as a community. I'm going to agree with Ann. I think that there's I'm going to agree with Ann. I think that there's a lot of positive things in this plan. I think there's things in this plan that meet the goals of our land use goals, and I could go through all that. But I do want, when you say the park, Jeff, are you talking about, because we haven't been able to discuss it, are you saying the park is an issue that you don't want a park? Or are you saying that you would like a park that you kind of want to talk about moving the park the way you talked earlier tonight? He's not voting.
We are discussing this. I've asked Rhea to give us the time to do that. Please.
That's fine. What my point is that this project from the beginning, I know the first time I spoke to Mr. Waters and, with their town hall and the plan laid out, he was talking about how this was Weddington country, something for wedding. I still go back to what I said in the remarks earlier, that it's, to me, it still feels more like a subdivision that has to have a park that the town's gonna get to use versus a town park that has to have homes next to it.
So,
And being brutally honest here, so many iterations have come through this. I have mentioned this before, and then at the previous meeting and what has been presented so far, I don't see it. I don't.
I would like to see if we could work through it, but, I mean, I don't think
That's what.
But since I don't have a vote unless there's a tie, I'm not going to. However, I've
I want you guys to realize that in this whole process since January, I have only received emails saying no and the word reject. Never, since January, have I ever received an email from any of my 14,000 neighbors saying, hey, this is gonna be a really cool project for Weddington. Can I please just say this? I have never had anybody say, this is a cool project. I don't like this, but can we work together as a town to bring something to Weddington? And it's very disappointing that my 14,000 neighbors, none of you have come up and said, can we work together?
Look, folks, you want council to try and work through these things. You want to be heard. You don't want us to interrupt you, and we don't. But you are bound determined to interrupt us for some unknown reason to me. So all I'm suggesting is allow the council the opportunity to talk to each other, share their views, and then they will determine. That's what you elected them to do. Believe me, elections are coming soon enough. I can only assure you how much I'd love to turn this over. Hold on.
I'm making a motion to reconsider the vote, send it back to the planning.
The motion's been made to reconsider the vote, so not necessarily. The vote was to send it back to planning board. So we are now reconsidering the motion to send it back to the planning board, and that will then leave, if it passes, it leaves no motion on the table. If there is no motion decided, if there's no action decided by the council, then this issue is carried over to the next council. No, it's not. Well, right. Once we pass this motion, there will be no motion, or there will be no action to be taken pending another motion.
correct.
That's what I mean, pending another motion. So first thing we gotta do is negate the motion we took, that motion was to send it back to the planning board. A motion's been made to reconsider that action. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. 2 in favor, 3 in favor. The motion passes. Now the chair is open to another motion.
I'm making a motion to deny the application for the Weddington Green project.
A motion has been made to deny the application for the Weddington Green project. It does not require a second or any back. All those in favor of the motion to deny signify by saying aye. We have 2 ayes. All those opposed signify by saying no. We have 2 noes. That leaves it up to me. The chair votes no. We're going to take a 3-minute recess this time.
Voted no.
Due to some confusion on my part, so I have to correct my vote. I correct my vote to, I vote in favor of the motion, which is to deny the petition. Meeting will come back. Meeting will come back to order. The next item of business is to discuss the preliminary 22-23 budget. And I believe we have perhaps some commentary, or is there a discussion by the,
We're gonna have a public hearing at the next meeting to go over the general fund budget.
stand a little closer to the mic, please.
Sorry. We're gonna have a public hearing next month for the budget for fiscal year 23, Town of Livingston General Fund. You've got in your packets what that budget is going to look like and will be published for the citizens to see and review. It is still a 4.8% tax rate. Its total budget.
Hold on just a second. Would you all please take your conversations out the door so that we can hear the speaker? Thank you. Go ahead.
It's remaining at a 4.8% tax rate, which is a total increase in revenues and expenditures over the current year budget of about $50,000. Most of that can primarily be attributed to public safety increases. The budget as it is presented does not include the ARPA funds that will be used during the year. As those become available to be spent, we decided on how we will spend them, we'll amend the budget to include those. So if you have any questions, reach out and ask me.
If you don't mind, just a couple of clarifications for all members of the council. I'm looking at this summary page, the first page of the budget that you sent to us, just so I'm clear, reading that our total anticipated revenues for fiscal 23, which begins July 1st, are $2,591,500. And that does not include the ARPA funds or the SCIF funds.
That is correct.
Okay, just wanted to make sure we were absolutely clear on that. And then you sent us the line item budget, which is available online.
Is it online?
Okay,
It's in this month's packet and it will be available online after this meeting.
Now, will also the proposal for the use of the ARPA and SCIF funds be included on the online posting? Is that correct?
They are also in this month's packet. They are not part of the general fund budget, but we can make them be available as part of the discussion.
So is there a reason we should or should not include that information? I mean,
No, it's fine to include it. Like I said, we haven't done all the project ordinances and things, and the money is not set for definite. And once we do those steps, then we can bring it in and amend the budget. So it's included to say how we're proposing to spend it, but it's not set yet.
Right. And you feel comfortable, we are clear on the direction of use of those monies, ARPA and SCIF monies, as to what we can and or cannot. Doesn't appear there's much we cannot use it for.
You know, it's not as easy as it seems on the surface. So they told us for the ARPA funds that we could use them on anything that a local municipality can spend on. But then there are the red tape items with subawards, subawards and subrecipients. So it's a lot easier and less bureaucratic to spend it on internal town stuff versus external ones. So that's where we're trying to make it be as simple as we can. And we're proposing that we spend it on our deputy contract and our internal salaries.
Are there any questions or comments from council for clarity to understand what? All right, Leslie, thank you very much, appreciate it. We'll move on to item number 9, new business. A discussion and consideration for preliminary and final plats for the Hempy Place subdivision. You all got that in your packet. Are there any comments, questions, clarifications that need to be, oh, I would probably add that.
It's fairly simple.
Before I was mayor.
Yeah, they received all their approvals to begin their permits to begin construction, so their preliminary plat's been reviewed by Bonnie and approved, and they have all their permits, and then the final plat, if the preliminary plat is approved, and the final plat, they have done their bond estimate, and they're ready to post the bond and approve the final plat.
For under consideration, is there a motion to approve the final plats for the Hempy Place subdivision?
So moved.
Motion's been made for approval of the final, preliminary final plats for the Hempy Place subdivision. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion passes. Moving on to item 10, update from the town planner. Which one? Our new one?
It would be shorter. We have Weddington Glen making a conditional, asking for an amendment to their conditional zoning. They want to remove an existing home that was originally in their plan out and keep it. It leaves the conditional district subdivision. It meets all the criteria for conservation subdivision. By doing this, they held their community meeting. It'll be on the planning board agenda at the end of in May for their agenda. I've had a number of inquiries into the Orr property, and it feels like there's one other, Belmar. They are getting their final plat things in order. They have asked to be covered by the new UDO rather than the old one, which they were originally approved under, which allows them, staff, to approve the final plats. Belmar, it's an 11 lot subdivision.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was approved before I arrived, so can't give you much reference to that. And that's generally it.
I would like to ask you a question. I noticed that we had a public engagement meeting up at Beechwood Homes, but I couldn't remember why and what happened.
That was the Weddington Glen to remove the one home from the Weddington Glen subdivision, the existing home that's next to the fire station. Yeah, that's what that's for.
Is there been further action that's going to be necessary by the council on that?
Yes, it'll go to the planning board, then there'll be a public hearing before you to make this amendment to the conditional rezoning, and then you'll vote on that.
Okay. Thank you. Is this your, perhaps your last presentation as our interim planner?
I think I'm almost done. Now it's just to orient Robert, and we'll be done.
Well, in case that will be done part happens before our next meeting, I want to thank you very, very much on behalf of the council and all of us. We appreciate your work. We appreciate your personality, and we are very grateful for what you have done for us and the time that you take to get back and forth from your home. So we hope it's not the last we'll see of you.
Well, I'll come back and visit, but I do want you to know that it's been a pleasure for me to work with you. You're a good group of people, and I've enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thanks, Lee.
Thank you very much. Now we have a code enforcement report that was in the packet.
If you have any questions, let me know.
No questions. We'll move on to update from finance officer and tax collector. I think only our finance officer is here.
I don't normally have much to say here, but I am going to say something tonight. On your statement of revenues
Statement of revenues and expenditures, the anticipated, column is the budget column. And the totals have not changed, but there were some line item reclasses, and I just wanted to let you know. And I also want to let you know that we did file our first ARPA report at the end of April for the period March 31st, 2022. We used some of the ARPA money to pay for salaries. So at the June report, we will have another amendment to show how that was used for this year.
Thank you. Any problems we should be made aware of so that we're kind of preparing ourselves?
We are in good shape.
We are in great shape. Thank you very much for that. Next item is public safety report. Officer Crop, good evening.
Good evening. I'll make it short for you. Just check the update in the newsletter for the latest from me, and unless y'all have any questions about what was in the packet.
And thank you for all you're doing with the speeding and, I mean, I see you out there all the time. Thank you.
Well, it's an all-time job.
I know.
Thank you, Officer Crop. Any other comments on public safety? Seeing none, moving on to council comments. We're almost finished. Mayor Pro Tem Dennis Brooks.
Lehman, thank you so much for all you've done for this community and all the support you've given us over the last year. I appreciate you. We're going to miss you. And thank you to the staff for all you do for the town. It's much appreciated. And it's been a very tumultuous time. And you put a lot of hours into all of this, and I deeply appreciate it. Thank you to all my council members for your persistence in getting what you, the end result that you wanted, and I thank you for your efforts for our community. You want this?
Just echo Janice. Lehman, thank you. Much appreciated. I enjoy your friendship and also your work. Thank you. Work ethic.
And Lehman, let me, I know it's broken record here, but thank you for the work that you've done for the town. It was certainly above and beyond what I think you probably initially thought that we would have somebody sooner, but you are a professional. I appreciate it. And I'll lead this into, I appreciate all the time you could put up with all my many questions about where is this written, what does this mean, how many can we do this? I appreciate it very much. I do.
Happy to do it.
And I'm going to echo that with our attorney, Karen Walters, and Karen Dewey. Down there you are. So many times I call up and say, I need answers to these 5 questions, and boom, 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 boom. Again, as I said before, we have the best town staff in the state, and that's a reflection of y'all, Leslie, Kim, everybody. I mean, you're awesome. I respect it.
Thank you all very much. It's been a tough couple of months, putting it mildly, on all of us. I greatly appreciate the diligence that this council has put forth in doing your homework and really thinking this thing through, thinking all the things that we do through. Greatly appreciative, Lehman, of your efforts. It's a long drive, but you hung in there with us, and we learned a lot from you. We hope that you don't leave too scarred up. We're all the sum of our experiences, but with sincere, heartfelt appreciation, we wish you Godspeed and look forward to having you come back to visit. And with that said as well, Robert, we welcome you to the town of Weddington. We've got a relatively short but interesting history, and my guess is that projects like what we dealt with tonight we're going to see a lot more of those. Weddington is a great place to be. Everybody wants to be here. There are a lot of things that we want to do, but trying to figure out how to get them done is a challenge unto itself. We'll see. With all that, really appreciate you all sticking around and stuck around with us this evening. And unless there are further comments, it is 8:48, meeting adjourned.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, that's right, I don't get to do that. Motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
This motion's been made, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Ayes have it, motion, the meeting is adjourned.
Don't find this.